a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning.
Good morning, viewers. We're just at about 7:16 a.m. and welcome back to the Tobago Updates morning show, coming to you here live from the Port Mall in Scarborough, Tobago. I'm Julien Skeete, and in this segment, we are chatting with Curtis Douglas, president of the All Tobago Fisher Folk Association. Good morning to you and welcome.
Good morning to you, Julian. And you know how I always start this program? Share the life.
Share the life. Indeed, indeed. And you know, as we head on into the discussions, we know that some time has passed now, most certainly, since we had the circumstances here with the oil spill. And I know we had some earlier conversations with the status just up to about a few weeks ago. Tell us, where are we at this point?
All right, we're at a point right now. Before I even get into that, Adana, happy birthday! Shout out from the All Tobago Fisher Folks to you. And, shout out to your brother birthday, which is tomorrow as well. From the All Tobago Fisher Folk and from the Tobago community, we share the love and we share the life straight out to you. Happy birthday to you and your team.
Certainly. I think we have to bring Curtis in here as a guest host as well. Yeah, we heard, and just to add to the question, we heard the Chief Secretary over the course of the Easter celebrations making mention of the fact how the weather might have had certain impacts in terms of where, the oil and the spill may have come inland within the circumstances, and really trying to, of course, avoid and to mitigate as best as possible those challenges with returning in any way, form or fashion heading back out. Tell us a little bit about that and where we are, particularly some of the work and efforts that might have gone into this weekend.
Julian, to be frank, for the public who are not taking, data, this is 57 days since that incident would have happened from the 7th of February to now. And from the 7th of February to now, to the 4th, we would have made a lot of improvement in the terms of bringing back some form of stability in certain areas. So now we are at the phase whereby Tima and his team and the entire team, led by Alan Stewart, and they are now concentrating on basically trying to bring back things in portion. So you will find over the next couple of days or weeks, you would see, well, okay, they will say it's okay, it's safe now for Lambo to bring back. And when you look at I Love Tobago, you remember the state, I don't know if people would have recalled the state and the condition of one of the most attractive sites in Tobago right now that it was in. And it was really, really infected by the hydrocarbon. And when you look at it now, you could see that move from phase 2 to phase 1, if we look at it at that, how we number it, right? So you find I Love Tobago have a bit more clarity, and as you go along, you're gonna find Lambeau, then you're gonna find Petit Chou, then you're gonna find Cano Bay, and then you're gonna find, Cove, all of these vicinities. So the 15, if the hectares of land of direction were being affected, I think they are proportionally phasing it out. But I want Tobago people to also remember that once that boat is in the water, because we would have met yesterday with Penelope Beckles and also the Tobago West representative, Ms. Ayana Webster, right? No. Right. What's her name?
Shamfa Kodjo, that's the Member of Parliament, yes.
And Minister of Parliament, Penelope Beckles.
Yes.
And they would have expressed their concern with the fact that still, even though we would have made such a mammoth achievement so far, given the time frame in which we did it, there are still some major concerns by that vessel being there, because as it stands, there are still oil to be retrieved from the vessel. So we're talking about something like about at least 5,000 or 3,000 barrels still of crude or hydrocarbon still to be taken out of the vessel and to reposition, whether they are going to send it back to Trinidad to be refined, because that hydrocarbon or oil that is, or they call it bunker fuel, is also valuable. It worths money. So now they have to define how they're going to do it, because you don't want to mix contaminated fuel with good fuel. So now we are now at that stage where we're going to take the contaminated fuel and put it in a separate cage, right? and also be able to send it back to Trinidad. I don't know, that decision really will be up to the Chief Secretary and his team, what decision they're going to make for Tobago. But as it stands, the boat is still there and it's not leaking presently. Well, the drone didn't fly, so I have no information whether it is flown today or not. And the fishermen haven't gone out to inspect the booms and them as yet. So, but I know as of yesterday, the boat was not leaking. But what you find is occurring is that when the rain came down, you find some of the mangroves and all of these oil bunker flows in there, it's been flushing, so it's coming back into some of the sea. So they are now trying to take it up. But Tobago is still at an emergency stage because a bad weather, a overturn, and oil could be leaked out into the atmosphere. So now we now have to try to be able to control that.
So I want to get, and you know, one of the things you mentioned, and that's one of the areas I certainly want to discuss, the vessel is still there in terms of lodge. And I know, of course, this requires the input and the involvement, particularly of central government as well. Are we seeing the steps being taken in that direction, connectedly between the THA, TIMA, the other state agencies, central government, to get us to that point where, you know, we can actually treat with the physical vessel itself? What's the ultimate intention? Because it's good that it has stopped leaking. And we hope that certainly that is all there is to come out of the vessel under the circumstances. But what would be considered the next logical steps in this matter? What should we anticipate, you know, down the road?
All right, so that the public will understand what we have right now. What stage we have? We have a company that was sent by central government, which is called T&T Salvage. They are the one that are right now are leading the role in pumping those hydrocarbon out. So they are the one to be able to do the salvage operation. Now, a salvage operation, to do don't know, is where they're not looking for life anymore. They're just looking to contain and to break up, retrieve, and to move. So they are right now have the responsibility, right, of pumping out those fuel and also cutting that boat and make sure whatever other finding beside hydrocarbon, because we don't know what is inside that boat. So they have the responsibility. The only problem we face is that we don't have enough, in my views, from where I sit, Tobagonians or fisher folk in the active to ensure to see directly on a day-to-day basis what is going on. So we have a bird's eye or eagle eyes view on what it is, because by the end of the day, we have to mind our business. But in terms of central government input, the meeting yesterday with the two ministers and the chief secretary and the IMA and the EMA and the fisher folk, that went on. So they are offering their services, they are collaborating. But one of the main things that we are not seeing, so I'm hearing people making little noise that, you know, the chief secretary and this, the chief secretary would have announced that they didn't receive any funding from central government from this. It's been 57 days, and at least some form of something should happen to have that going, given it was a national disaster. So I don't want people to think, well, oh, I'm the chief secretary, Mr. Chavez, in this. Mr. Chavez hasn't gotten the assistance from central government in that terms of finances. But in the terms of the professional expertise, the central government would have sent up T&T Salvage and other contractors, Heritage, to ensure to help. But what I'm saying, we need our people here on ground, because it is in our zone, and we have a right and a vetted interest to mind our business, not only to see what's going on, but also to learn from these operations, because this is something that was not planned, and Tobagonian must be prepared for the unforeseen circumstances that we are undergoing right now in Tobago in terms of an oil spill or gas spill. Now, the reason why I'm alluding to this or expounding so much on this, Tobago is saturated in natural gas and oil. Today is an oil spill. Tomorrow could be a gas leak, and a gas leak is more devastating than an oil spill. With a gas leak, it kills everything in sight. So that and all have to be sought out. And also in the terms from the fisherman point of view, I will have to support deliver at least by Wednesday the financial study and data based on losses of fishermen, because what I would have seen so far from my investigative team of ATFA investigative team, so far we would have recorded at least 12 boats engine that was damaged because of the hydrocarbon. It clogs the impeller, and impeller stop the engine itself, for those who know about engine, from overheating, and then it damages the pistons and damage the block, so it mashes up the engine. But I don't want people to come and say things, but we have our team investigating, so we are at the final stage of the investigation of submitting those documents to the chief secretary, right? To the chief secretary, so they have now a overview of how it, what was the cost, what is the cost factor for the fisher folk. So not only the fisher folk, we also have to submit to the downstream provider, which is the vendors, how they were affected and how much we have to submit. So I'm saying, people, when I submit this report, my duty is to submit the report and submit the findings of this hydrocarbon destruction.
And then we deal with where there would be some levels of compensation, because I know that has been spoken about at the level of the THA as well as at the level of central government, in terms of providing some kind of support in the circumstances. But I think it's a step in the right direction, Curtis, in terms of providing the report so that the information is available, and then determining the way forward, so that, of course, the members of your association, which have certainly been affected, would also. Well, we'd certainly look forward to further discussions by the time that report has come out, in terms of giving a sense of what the real circumstances and the financial impact in particular. We're in the final 30 seconds just before we close. Your hopes and aspirations and the hopes of many in terms of bringing this matter eventually to a closure. Do you anticipate some more weeks to go, some more months to go, another year? What do you anticipate?
Yesterday, a conversation came up and asked, how long again this have? Now, the professionals who would have been from outside that came in were saying, you know, this thing really will cause the next 6 months. But I cannot put a timeline on this, because I might be here and say next 6 months, 4 months, and then it might end up to be a year, given the fact from the site visit and the internal visit that I would have done. It may be longer than 6 months or 7 months. So I'm saying we have to be mindful. But my main concern, Julien, is to bring back Tobago to its original glory, or even better than it was, so that we see the fauna will be able to grow. The more the baits now start to come back into the area. I know that will take some time, but these are my futuristic expectation of these kind of operation. Right? And before I go, I want to say big up to all the power boats in Tobago. So big up to your old dog, big up to your all of the power boats, Miles, who would have entertained in Scarborough and all over Rolo. Big up to you, Mr. Koshi, to your team, the Castara team, the Plymouth team, the Palatavia team. Big up to you all for making Tobago still one of the most exciting places and one of the greatest places to come for Easter and all your holidays. So thank you, guys.
Excellent. Thank you very much there, Curtis Douglas, president of the All Tobago Fisher Folk, continuing to bring us those updates. And I want to say commendations in particular, to the members of the All Tobago Fisher Folk Association for getting involved at this level, even as they continue and, they have incurred losses. And I am certain it's safe to say that while Curtis and the team may be willing to continue to work for the next how many months and the next how many, even if it goes to a year, they certainly may not be willing to wait that long to get some kind of compensation or support to help the members of the association. But thank you very much for bringing us the updates here this morning on the Tobago Updates Morning Show. And viewers, as we prepare to head on into our next interview, we head on out to a break, and we want to remind you that this is your opportunity, and I'm certain, Curtis, you will join in with me. This is your opportunity to
share the life, share the life, share the life.